Dozens of shipwrecks from the Second World War line the ocean floor of Micronesia, attracting tourists and researchers from across the globe. But safety concerns are mounting, and locals from the Micronesian state of Chuuk have now launched a lawsuit seeking accountability for damage caused by oil leaks from one of the wrecks. Someone who's been studying this issue is Jeffery, Associate Professor of Archaeology and Micronesian Studies at the University of Guam, and he joins me now. Good to have you with us. Can you firstly explain, how many wartime shipwrecks are there around the area of Chuuk and Micronesia, and why is oil leaking from them?
There's about 100 shipwrecks in and around Chuuk Lagoon and 50 inside the lagoon. They're big ships of about 4,000 up to 10,000 tons, and 3 of them are oil tankers. So they were carrying oil during Second World War, and they were bombed by the US in February 1944, and they sunk the 50 ships, and so there are 50 shipwrecks now. Many of them still have the oil that they were using, or gasoline, other sort of petroleum, and that is leaking because they've been leaking ever since they went down in 1944. But now, because they're breaking up, they're steel or iron, and they're collapsing, they're corroding and collapsing, and so whatever oil or petroleum is in there is coming out.
Yes, so are these waters, in the region increasingly at risk of, more oil? How much is there in the near future, and what might be the impacts on the local environment?
Yeah, we're not quite sure how much oil is in them. They're not really sure. We're not sure if the tankers were full when they went down. There's theories or historical records to say that some of the oil was pumped out. And they've been leaking onto some of the islands. There's 19 high volcanic islands in the lagoon, and they've been getting into the mangrove area where there's fish breeding grounds for many, many years. But now, because of they're 80 years old, they're starting to break up more. So if there's oil in there, more oil will be coming out. It could be an increasingly big problem for them. They've been studying, I've been part of a little bit, but my area is in cultural aspects of them. And the FSM national government have been studying them and trying to look at mitigating the oil.
So now the residents in Chuuk, they are launching a lawsuit basically to assign responsibility for the damage. Who are they claiming should be responsible, and what are the chances that this legal challenge might be successful?
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. It's now 80 years, and not a lot has happened. The Japanese, with the giant Japanese Mine Action Service, have been in Chuuk for about 4 or 5 years and have been pumping out the oil of some of them, but in a very small manner. It's not fast enough. So I can understand the Chuukese and maybe the FSM national government getting behind them to try and push things along. I mean, it was a war that the Chuukese weren't really, they were just innocent bystanders, and it's Japanese and the Americans. They really should put in, a big thing to move things along a bit, do some more study, get out some of the oil, understand how much oil is left in it. It's very expensive, and the legal aspects of it are really a bit complex too, about who is responsible for them.
And how is it affecting people, specifically residents of Chuuk?
Yeah, the close islands near, there's 50 inside the lagoon, so not all of them are leaking oil. The ones that are leaking oil the oil is going into the mangrove area, as I said, and that has an impact on the breeding. And of course, the staple food is fish. We're not sure of the impact of the oil leaking there for many, many years. I mean, has it had an impact on the type of fish and maybe the diseases that the fish are getting, and maybe some of the fish are no longer there. So it's a really a big issue for Chuukese who rely on fish for a living, also for selling elsewhere and within Chuuk. So something needs to be done for sure.
Yes, and Bill, we're just looking at some footage that you have sent us, underwater footage of these wrecks. Quite extraordinary images, absolute boon for divers. of shipwrecks and for coral reefs and for fish. These are major attractions for Chuuk and draws in tourists and researchers. Is there a way to sustainably balance tourism interests with environmental concerns?
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult issue because the tourists love to come to dive and see the shipwrecks, intact. Unfortunately, they live in a very salty, corrosive environment, so they're going to collapse. I mean, there are things that we could do, but it would cost millions and millions and millions of dollars to stabilise them. So they are going to collapse. The oil is going to leak out if there's oil in them. They can mitigate a bit more. Or put booms around some of them when they're leaking. It just needs, quite a bit more money and resources that the Chuukies don't have. So I think they can be better equipped to deal with these issues, and I think that would have a better, a more lasting relationship with the wrecks and help to keep tourists coming back, because it really is one of the biggest industries apart from fishing. Tourism is one of the biggest industries for Chuuk.
Yes, and absolutely. Just finally as well, if the money was there to address this, what are the things that can be done to mitigate the problems that's being caused by these wrecks that still have lots of oil in them?
I think first of all we need to understand how much oil is in there. We have an educated guess at the moment about how much oil is in there, but there's techniques that we can use to look at look at sort of ways of understanding the oil. And then, if there are substantial amounts of oil they find in some of the wrecks, we'll go there and take them out. That's cost a big money. I mean, it cost, they did one in Ulithi in Yap, and it cost several millions of dollars. But they got the oil out and they could reuse the oil. That's the thing, they can reuse the oil. So it's a win-win, really. Burning oil is not a good thing, but we could do it in another way to stop the sort of greenhouse gases, from burning fossil fuels.
Yeah, let's hope this does not become a huge environmental issue in the future. Bill, Jeffery, really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.